Hi, Anthony.
Hey,
Uh, and we're going to be talking about following your passion. Um, so that's our topic for today. So, Anthony, I know just been talking with you a little bit that this is a passionate subject for you.
yeah, very much. I was just telling April a little earlier that when I was very young, my dad said to me, he said, "You're going to have to work really hard in life. You spend most of your waking hours at work. You might as well be doing something you love."
Hmm.
And that really kind of stuck with me. And I found a passion for working with computers and then working with people, working with computers. And that was it. That's all I did. I mean, I did many other things. I tried lots of things because, sometimes you feel like you know what your passion is, but maybe you do it for a while and it's not. So I tried all sorts of things: music, computing, electronics, art, all sorts of things. But the thing I always kept coming back to was sitting at the computer and coding.
Really?
Was there
And
anything surprising where your passions have brought opportunity that you didn't know, that you didn't see coming?
yeah, 100%. I'm a strong. I believe that one of my favorite words is serendipity. When a happy accident occurs, and I think a lot of what people try to do is to plan everything and design everything, but sometimes you just have to start doing stuff. Just get out there and just try things, and do that as much as you can to get rid of the fear of trying new things, because often that's the hard part, right? So you almost have to practice trying lots of different things. Like right now, I have a YouTube channel about cars that I'm also doing, as well as consulting and coaching engineering teams. I'm doing these things; they're completely unrelated to each other. But interestingly, it has resulted in me meeting people that I would never otherwise have met, including yourselves.
Yeah.
Just through the work and the coaching work that I do, and the speaking, and it's resulted in me bumping into people like Will I Am at one of my clients. You know, never thought that was going to happen. I'm here to advise people on how they can optimize their delivery of software based products, and then I bump into Will I Am. I have a conversation with him about technology, and it's like crazy things like that happen. So all of the different things I've done have resulted in some random things. I've ended up in a music video.
It is,
For,
yeah, it's funny. It reminds me of the Joseph Campbell quote, follow your bliss and doors will open where you least expect it. And that truth is so self-evident. I think in just even speaking to April and now listening to you, that when you follow your passion and kind of start to get in tune with it, the universe kind of starts conspiring with you. So Will I Am shows up in your life or something else or our interactions. I mean, it is amazing. But what was interesting about what you said, because Anthony, you were lucky that your dad uh, encouraged you to follow your passion. For many of us, that's not the case. It's not that my parents didn't encourage me to follow my passion, but the focus was on being able to stand up on my own 2 feet in order to be able to be resilient. And so early on in my life, I kind of picked a career by looking at some of my strengths, but picking a career that would uh, earn me the best income or give me the most respect in society and would impress other people. And while I enjoyed it, because I did pick on one of my strengths and followed that through, and like you, it was in technology and working in software. But really, my passion all along, I think, was with people and with organizing stuff and kind of serving other people. Like I think when just right before we went on air, you had mentioned about the passion in other people finding their passion. And just in speaking between the three of us, I think that's something that we share. But that's not something when you're early on in life that you can think that you're going to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and be resilient. But following that has really shown me that it's possible. Like doors do open up where you least expect it when you're bringing all of your energy and your enthusiasm and your authenticity to your work.
I think one of the things that help us to get there, because we all have different, we grown up differently. There's a different intersectionality that supports us having a mindset, and that we have to go through an unlearning path sometimes. And I like it me where I didn't grow up well off, or as I say, I grew up whole. We can even afford the OR, and so it's like, yes, I want to find a career that can help me not to experience what I experienced in my childhood. But at the same time, I was always told that you can do whatever you want to do. So I was able to consider, what do I really care about? Like, be able to follow interests. And one of the things that I encourage people is not think about what do you want to be when you grow up. It's like, what do you want to do next? How do you want to add value next? Because at one point in time in my career, I may have worked in this area. It doesn't mean that you have to do that for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that if you shift careers that you didn't enjoy that part. It's just like, oh, now I have an interest in here. And that it's okay to explore and do something else. And
Totally.
And that is exciting, and there's a certain freedom in that. It's this shift. And for me, when it came to moments in my career, I kind of go towards the one that's most challenging, because that invites the most learning. And
I was just going to ask you, why do you go to the most challenging? And the most learning, the most, I guess, stretch happens there.
I find that with me, like one of the things that I have, has been surprising and like following my passion for learning, is that I started to speak at conferences and stuff. And that was as a way to say, instead of having someone else be in charge of my learning, and that I discovered that if I contribute, I get to go for free, right? And so that led me down something else. Then I found that I actually enjoy doing that. I enjoy, as we talked before, helping support others unlock their potential and experiment as well, if that's what their interest is. So it's led me down a surprising, exciting path, and has given me other opportunities.
Yeah.
How about you?
Anthony, has your career kind of taken different turns, like April shared?
Yeah, very much. I think I kind of found myself in a very sort of difficult situation, and very early in my career when I sort of left university, and I managed to get like a temporary job. It wasn't a permanent job, it wasn't a graduate job or anything like that. A temporary job working in a network engineering testing team. So it was about testing the software that ran a bunch of telecommunications networks. And I just worked really hard because I really enjoyed it, and found ways. It was a little frustrating at times, because I'd be asked to say, do a task, and I was told how to do it, and it used to frustrate me. And they were like, oh yeah, this data cleanup, if you just manually go through and clean it up. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'll sit there. So during the day, I'd sit there manually doing what I was told. And then it came to 5:30 p.m. Right, I've clocked off. Okay, now I'm going to sit there for the next 2 hours trying to figure out how I can write some code to automate this whole process for me. And And I found myself kind of at first stuck in that work, I'm here to work kind of thing. And then I kind of got opportunity to take on more responsibility. And then I was taken on more like a contractor, and then I set up a little company. And I was all this time I was thinking, I just want to get a permanent job, And by the time I was offered a permanent job at this same company, my contracting rate was already double what they were going to pay me as a permanent person. So why would I take a 50% pay cut? And that kind of, I stayed there for a while, and then I decided, right now I need to move on. And I got out into the big wide world and started going to conferences. And I never expected to find myself standing on a stage giving a talk, but a short time later I was. And that was scary, but again, a really, really great experience for me to learn to overcome fear. And then that just resulted in me kind of becoming an independent consultant. And then I stumbled into an agile project in the year 2000, or an XP project as it was at the time. And I was like, this is a crazy way to work. It won't make any sense. Oh, that's why it worked. Oh, okay. And then that got me really passionate about working in the agile space. So then I was one of the first people in the UK to have actual real experience in my mid 2000s when it started to go mainstream. Now I was in demand. So it's just been this continuous, like I stumble into something, I try something new, I try something different. And every single time, despite there being a few downs along the way, the net result has always been up just by doing things different. I've actually never had a permanent job ever as a result.
Yeah.
But it was just because I was willing to take risks,
I think that's it. In order to be able to find what really lights you up, you have to try new things, and then it can be new things further in the direction of what you uncovered gives you energy. And there's more passion there, and then there's more passion there, and then there's more passion there. And it's only by doing, and like you're saying, taking a risk, because every step like of that similar experience for me has been scary. Like for me, it was about leaving my job that I loved, working with people that I loved, and I could have been there the rest of my life. And there was something that was tugging me to go explore further. And that jump was one of the scariest things I've ever done. And luckily I had people in my life that supported it. But that opened up a world for me that was just like it was waiting there, and I hadn't opened that window for all that time. Right. And
But
then
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll say, what about even starting this? Like we were talking just before you started this.
Oh yeah.
Episode 4 now.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think if we were to sum all of this up, is that following your passion could invoke a bit of fear, right? And that's maybe how you know where to leap, right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Do the thing that scares you, right? And I tell you, April, it's so much more fun and slightly less scary when you're holding the hand of a friend as you're taking that jump off the cliff. I can't even tell you how much it means to me to do this little, kind of risky and scary thing that's outside of our comfort zone with you.
That's amazing.
And Anthony, you kind of encouraged us to go ahead and just do it, you said. So we want to thank you for that.
You would have done it eventually, but it's one of those things that it's so easy to sort of sit there and try to think of all of the possible things that could go wrong. But the best way to learn is just by doing things, making mistakes and learning from them. And it's daunting when you're doing that live and having a conversation like this. But the great thing is, if it didn't work out the first time, that would have been great practice. You could just delete the videos. Yeah, people watch you live, but after no one gets to see it afterwards. And there's a few people that I occasionally work with, outside of my normal sort of sphere of work. And one of them is this guy, he runs a gym. And I said, look, you really need to do more on social media. because you've got so much opportunity for content. He's like, oh yeah, but I'm not good in front of the camera. So I just said to him, look, every day, treat this like part of your training regime. Every day, you tell a story to the camera for as long as you're comfortable. It could be 30 seconds, it could be 30 minutes, doesn't matter. Just save it on your phone. Don't share it with anyone. Don't put it anywhere. Just every day, I want you to record one video as an exercise. And he told his wife, and then she was like, yep, he's right, try it. So he tried it. And then one day they were out to dinner, and he was starting to tell this story. She goes, hold on a second. And she picked up her phone and started filming him at the dinner table as he was telling this story. And she was like, carry on, carry on. And then now he's putting stuff out there on social media everywhere. He had a celebrity join him for a training session recently, which they filmed. And, you know, just there's so many things that we can try and plan for, but you'll never know what they are until you just get some experience.
And let's leave it there. And I thank you so much for being our first special guest. And it just felt right. And just to let you all know, before we began, Antony and I were on another call just to catch up like we do weekly. And moments before I said, hey, why don't you join us? And he joined us with his scruff and everything and just tried it. So we thank you so much. And how do we end? What do we need everyone to do?
Well, if you aren't yet doing what energizes you the most, experiment. Go find the thing that lights you up, that makes you feel alive, and then go do more and more of that. And sometimes it's going to feel really scary, but I think the joy of living that comes from that is so well worth it. And if you need somebody to guide you through that, well, there's April and Antony and Anjali that you can reach out to. So there you go.
100%. And just to sort of close, one thing that many people might feel is that taking that leap is something they can't do right now because they have responsibilities. Just think about how much time do you have in a day where you may have a moment to yourself, where you might watch a TV show or a film and think, you know, I'm going to try this. I'm going to take one time where I'll sit down and watch a film, and instead I'm going to try something that I've always wanted to try. Or I'm going to do that thing that I'm really excited about. Or I'm going to take one small step towards being able to do that little thing. And you'll be surprised that if it is something you're passionate about, no matter how much work you've got, parental responsibilities, and trust me, I've been there with all of that, you will always find a little bit of time to do that thing that you're passionate about. And before you know it, that thing will grow into something that is more than just a hobby. You will give yourself to that more than anyone else doing it because you love it. And in the end, you become a master of it, and then someone will pay you for your mastery, as I steal the words of philosopher Alan Watts. So just try and don't procrastinate, just start.
So thank you all for joining Live with April and Anjali. Please like